resistance to getting rid of these superdelegates?
Yeah, the resistance was very strong. It was not a given that
Who
this
are
was
these
going to
people?
pass at all. People who are very, very invested in this system.
But it seems like they would have to be invested in keeping the system rigged, like making it easy to influence elections by having these few people that you can control, having influence over these people. These people have massive influence over the results of the election. It's
so counterintuitive to what we stand for with our democracy.
Yeah.
And I think there is, it's a fear of losing power, I think ultimately is what it comes down to. And you have people who say, hey, look, I've given my life to the party. I put in all of this time and energy. I'm a volunteer. I'm doing this and all of that, which all of that is fine and it's great. But that shouldn't make it so that, as myself as a superdelegate, and I've talked about this, I shouldn't have my vote shouldn't count for any more than yours or anyone else's. And that we should be strengthening and empowering and uplifting the voices of the people rather than saying, well, this small elite group has way more power than you, so we'll see what they think about things.
It's so bizarre that that's a part of the system. It just seems like that's something that should have been eradicated a long time ago.
It should have been.
Now, Bernie Sanders had to be fuming.
Yeah.
I mean, from that, and then from finding out that the DNC actively conspired to have him lose the primary, all of that.
Sorry, one last thing on the superdelegates that some of those who support it have said is that it is their job to be able to save the country in case the people elect someone who isn't good. Really?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is a hilarious justification. Yeah. Oh, you know better than the whole country.
Yeah.
You must be super smart.
Yeah.
What kind of test do you have to take to take a superdelegate? To become a superdelegate, what do you have to do?
Yeah, it's certainly not a written test. It's really, again, you're either an elected member of Congress or you're somebody who the party chooses.
Wow, the idea that the reason to keep that is because you know better.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know better than all the people that voted.
Yeah. So disrespectful
It's crazy.
to people.
It's really crazy.
Yeah. So, that's been, I think, a positive thing that has come through all of this is more people are saying, I honestly wasn't paying a bunch of attention to superdelegates before all of this, and a lot of people had their eyes opened up to say, okay, this is clearly wrong.
Yeah.
Why was it there in the first place? Let's do something to fix the process.
Well, most people, I don't think, until this election, the general public wasn't even aware that was the case.
Yeah.
And then when people find out about it, they go, wait, what?
Yeah,
they can just decide to not vote the same way that people voted?
Yeah.
And then the state can lose?
Yeah.
Or, the person can lose the state, even though 70% of the state voted for that person?
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is.
Did you read Donna Brazil's book?
I didn't read the whole book. I got excerpts from it and of it.
I was shocked that they conspired to have Hillary win the primaries. I was more shocked that more people weren't outraged.
Yeah, what does that tell you?
It tells you that people have sort of resigned to the idea that this is a corrupt system.
Yeah.
That they don't have time. It goes back to what we were saying earlier, that people are exhausted.
Yeah.
Most people. Mm-hmm. Most people are exhausted.
And I think that's where you see a lot of the energy that came around for somebody like Bernie Sanders or somebody like Donald Trump, who are perceived as being not of the system.
Yeah.
But it shows us where we need to go, honestly. And you're talking about authentic, honest leaders who have integrity, and I think people are not as blind to that. People can tell.
Yeah.
People can tell if you're being real or not, or if you're signing a false bill of goods.
I think they're better at it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paying more attention.
Well, it's also there's enough footage of people now.
Yeah. Everybody's a reporter now.
Yeah. It's easy to go back and say, well, look at this interview from 4 years ago.
Yeah.
When they were completely different. Like, what happened? Mm-hmm. There's also calculated maneuvers that people do politically to align themselves with one group or another, where they realize, okay, there's a lot of money in being a this, that's, a that.
Right.
There's a lot of money in being whatever it is.
Yeah.
Republican or Democrat, or there's an angle for success.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's all of those different labels and things that people are capitalizing on within the political world, I think, are the things that are turning off more and more people
Right.
to the politics, because then it's like, well, if you're not branded with this label, then I'm not going to talk to you, or I'm not going to have a conversation, or it's this camp versus another camp, this tribe versus another tribe, rather than like recognizing even amongst our own families and friends and communities, like we figure out ways to talk things through and find ways to collaborate, and areas where we can agree to disagree on certain things, but we can do that with, what we in Hawaii call aloha, and with respect, and actually find a way through to move forward.
There's a lot of things that have been discussed in terms of the future